This covers you. This sums up your overall situation. The major arcana in this have different names, but they correlate to the regular tarot deck, and I'll go through all that here in a minute, but we'll just take a notice of this picture, the overall situation. I hardly ever read the stuff on the bottom. You can if you want to. But you can see that they're heading up a new path, and this is called life experience. So not to scare you or anything, because it's definitely not a bad thing. This in the traditional tarot deck is the Tower card, and I don't know how familiar you are with tarot or how much you know about it, but briefly, Tower is everything caving in and having to start over from the bottom. It sounds terrible, but it isn't, because the structure that's caving in is not built on a solid foundation. So there might be something in your life that seems rather important or a big deal, and you might already notice, that it's just kind of shaky. It's not really strong. It doesn't feel right. Things fall apart a little bit and you patch it together best you can. Kind of like being in a boat, and every time a hole comes through the bottom of the boat, you kind of patch it up with a little bit, but then another hole springs. You're holding things together, but the situation is not what's meant to be. The best thing for you is for this situation to completely crumble to the ground. At that time, it feels traumatic, because it's such a sudden change and such a complete change, and it may feel devastating, but it is a blessing, because that gives you the chance to start over fresh from the bottom and create something entirely brand new, intentionally, consciously, exactly the way that you want it to be. So focus on that. Focus on the new beginning. Focus on the finally being able to release things in your life that weren't working for you, and just, keep your eyes on the bright side. It is a positive card, but all right. So what crosses you? This is a situation in your life that affects this situation right here. This is another major arcana card. The first, the earlier ones, these are all signify major life events. This is release. So this is something that affects this card. All right. So the situation, like we said, something falling apart so you could start over. What is affecting that is an ending. This means very nearly the same thing as this. This is like a transformation card. Once again, almost identical. In the traditional tarot deck, it's death. Again, don't be scared. This very rarely means that somebody is dying. That would be a different card to depict something like that. This just means like the end of one cycle and the beginning of another cycle. Everything has to end for something else to begin, and it ties right into here. So something had ended, which had triggered or led to or played into everything else just kind of falling apart, so you could start from the beginning. Again, this is good because transformation is beautiful. Think of the caterpillar, the butterfly, that type of thing. It's a metamorphosis. It may be uncomfortable, may be difficult, but ultimately this brings you to an even more elevated place in life, and that's what we want. Okay, so at the root of all of this, so basically at the root of this situation, or in the distant past, this is the Hanged Man in a normal tarot deck. In this deck, they call it Awakening. It is kind of hard to get used to the different names, but mostly just kind of, look at the other clues and stuff. So this actually, again, it's a change of perspective. Okay, so the Hanged Man, he's hanging upside down, so he sees the same world, but he sees it completely differently. It looks completely different, and that's only because, he's hung upside down, he has a different perspective, but it looks like a completely different place. So that symbolizes, how when you're able to see things in a different way, maybe you see things from somebody else's point of view, or you have a situation where you go through something that you've judged somebody else for, and you have a new understanding of a situation that you have previously judged. So you went through something in the distant past, or that led to this situation that made you see things in a different light. And that's always good for growth. Okay, in your recent past, so what is behind you? This is upside down, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just means, pay extra attention to it. Sometimes reversals mean that there is an obstacle. Nines are completion. The Summer is these are the Cups cards. So that's like emotions, love, things like that. So upright, this is normally the wish card. Everything wonderful coming true, like a wish that you made coming true, everything, your dreams coming true, everything lovely. Since it's reversed, I would say that it might possibly be that in your recent past, you've been very, very, very close to having something that you desperately wanted. And maybe you are very close, but there's an extra step that needs to be taken. Maybe it's just hanging in the balance, waiting for you to complete something before you can move into that fulfillment stage. But when you do get there, it is emotionally satisfying. It's feeling connected to everything, having everything you want, fulfilled, feeling loving and being loved, that type of thing. But that might be something that is currently on hold for you. But in the recent past is when that would have come up. All right. What's before you? This is your near future. This is really awesome. Okay, so this is saying that in your near future, you're going to find your inner strength. This is the Magician. This is the point in time of your life that you realize that you're just not a victim of your circumstances. Things don't just happen to you. You're living a life and you make choices, and those choices carry power. And what you do has the power to affect what happens to you. This is the dawning, the awakening, the realization that you are magical, that you can harness the elements around you, that you can make things happen. You can direct the flow. You can set the course of your life. It's a very empowering feeling. So this is saying, especially if you feel victimized by this situation, all these things are happening. Maybe you're losing some things. It could be hard. It could be traumatic. And you might feel helpless, out of control. But in the near future, you're going to draw on these resources of inner strength that you never knew you had before. You're going to realize that you're magical. You're going to realize that you do have power in your life. And that's the best feeling ever. So don't despair if you are currently going through something that's a little difficult right here. Just know that good does come out of it. As I said it would, because everything does happen for a reason. All right. What crowns you? So the best thing that you have going for you in this situation, we have, sorry, my charger keeps wiggling. All right. We have the Seven of Autumn. This is a waiting card. So this is the Pentacle suit in the regular tarot deck. So it's all about, working hard, making money, material needs, providing for your family, that type of thing, getting money in exchange for labor. And again, family and stuff like that. So this is the point at which, you've planted your seeds, you've watered them, you've pulled the weeds, you came out there, sang to your plants, whatever it is that you did to make your dreams grow. And at this point, there isn't anything else for you to do but wait. And that part can be very difficult, especially when you're used to feeling like there's got to be something you can do to hurry things along, or there has to be some type of way to make sure things go as well as they can. And there isn't anything else to be done right now. You've put in the work. You've put in the time, you've tended for whatever it is that you are trying to grow. And right now, there isn't anything else for you to do. What's going to be is going to be. But if you feel confident about, really having integrity toward your pursuits and going for something that is for you, then it isn't anything to worry about, And of course, worrying doesn't get you anywhere regardless. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So this is just, since this is the Crowns You card, this is the best thing you have going for you. That would indicate to me that the best thing that you have going for you is that you have taken a lot of good steps up to this point. You've done a lot of good preparation. You've laid a really good groundwork. And so you'll be okay. We're almost done. All right. You, in this situation, so you may be feeling a little depressed. This is not really like a depression card. It's more of a rest card. But it is kind of like a withdrawal. Like maybe recently having been through something that just took a lot out of you. Or honestly, it is winter. So it could be something that isn't related to anything specific. It could be just, you're feeling tired. You're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe just you need a break. And again, it's not necessarily like a sad, depressing thing. It just could be, okay, I need a rest. Gather my bearings, go over things, and prepare for the next go. But for right now, I'm just going to take it easy and assess where I'm at so far. And this, since this is signifying you in this situation, this is saying that you, as a person, are just feeling in need of rest, and that's okay. You don't need to make any big decisions right now. In fact, Mercury is in retrograde, so I wouldn't recommend making any major life decisions at this point in time. So, just go ahead and rest. It'll do you some good. All right. Your environment. These are situations or people around you that affect the situation that you're in, right over here. Not necessarily you. So this being a 10, this is another card where it's like an ending and a beginning. 9s are technically completion. 10s go back into, starting the cycle all over again. So we have our 10 of spring. The spring is the staves in a regular deck. That's fire, passion, motivation. And normally, the higher up you get, the closer you are to a completion thing. And the staves or the spring is a very positive suit. But in this case, the 10 of staves, this is just really sometimes too much responsibility. I mean, it's definitely getting it done. Motivation, got a lot going on, and definitely rocking it. But it could be too much. It could be overwhelming. It could be... And that could very well tie to this feeling right here. In your environment, this is telling me that there is so much for you to be taking care of. Maybe so many responsibilities. There's so many people that need help from you. Maybe your boss has you doing like 50 different things, or, your family relies on you for several different things. I'm not sure, exactly what it is, but something in your environment has giving you the feeling of overwhelm, which would explain a lot about you feeling like being in a resting right now. So again, take that rest. Take time for you. You are important. So don't feel guilty about that. You attend to you, because if you can't attend to yourself, you're no good to anybody else either. So it's not heroic to deny yourself to help other people. It's essential for you to, to take care of you too. Because you, like they say in the airplane, and I know this is so cliche, but it's so true. You have to use an oxygen mask before you give it to your children, because you cannot help them if you cannot help yourself. All right. Your hopes and fears when it comes to this situation. This is another fire card, but this is great. This is just a lot of movement, communication. If you are texting somebody, a lot of times this will be, just a flurry of texts, letters, phone calls, things moving along very quickly, things progressing rapidly out of nowhere, just getting from point A to point B, and just, you know how that feeling, everything, you're in the groove, it's just rocking along. If it's somebody that you're talking to, the texts are flying back and forth, you guys are really clicking, or if it's a project that you're working on, everything just falls into place, and you feel the motivation, and you're just getting it done. So that's probably a hope. Your hope is for things just to move along really, really quickly, and to progress, and not to have any hitches or obstacles, things getting in your way. And maybe it is also for you to find motivation. That could very well be what this is. You may hope to find motivation if you're feeling a little, drowsy right here. But that's okay too. Sorry, I had to talk to my son, so I had to pause it. But anyway, but again, this, although it's an exciting take on things, it is very similar to this. It's multitasking, lots of things going on. This is still lots of things going on. You might be a little happier about it. So this might just mean that you hope to have a better attitude, or to better be able to handle, or have the energy to handle all the things that you need to take care of. Then the possible outcome, if you continue on your current path, there is nobody that can tell you for sure what's going to happen in the future. It's not set in stone. Any decision that you make can alter your future, because we do have free will. But the tarot spread, all that does is to tell you, if you continue doing things the way that you are right now, where it will possibly lead is here. And so this is kind of like a map. And if you don't like where the destination is, or what I'm telling you is possible to happen, you can correct your course and make different decisions at any time. Otherwise, tarot would be useless if all it did is said, well, this is what's for sure going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. The reason we do this is so we can see where we're headed, and if we don't like that, we can figure out what we need to do to head in a different direction. With that said, the final card, your possible outcome, if you continue on the current path that you are right now, this is the Ten of Autumn. This is an awesome card. Okay, it is back to the Pentacles, so it's family. But, I mean, this is very, very family. But it's completion. Again, like I said, with the tens, they are completion, but the beginning of a new cycle. This is ultimate fulfillment. Family coming together. Totally perfect for around the holidays. I don't know if your family's close or not, and this may not for you be your family, but it is that familial closeness, and also material pleasures, comforts, things being taken care of. And I hardly ever, like I said, read the things on the bottom of this, but because this is your outcome card, we're going to take a little closer look at it. This says, take steps to ensure the financial security of your children or other loved ones, making wise investments, or planning for retirement, honoring family traditions. This isn't really an advice card, though. Like I said, this is an outcome card. And this is very good then. It says, things coming together, family coming together, financial abundance, getting to where you want to be materialistically, financially, and that feels good. And I know that this camera isn't very good on this tablet, but you can see there's the mama fairy, and maybe he's the daddy fairy. They've got their little home. They live in a gourd or something like that. So they've got their home. They have a warm place to sleep. They've got their little one. I think they've got 2 little ones, and they're happily playing. So, people are, they're clothed, they're comfortable, they have a place to live, and they're enjoying their life right now. So for you, that would indicate that after all that you may go through, and then the strength that you find and the rest that you take, so that you realize that you are important and you need to take your rest, and so you can handle all the things that you have going on, but in the end, it will pay off. And hopefully that resonates for you. If it doesn't, no hard feelings. I do the best that I can, and I try to do things intuitively. So if it doesn't seem to fit for you, well, I apologize, but I hope that you got something out of it. And in any case, happy solstice.